Welcome to the Farmers Branch Chamber Chat. I'm Executive Director Grace Spees. Today we have Gerald Parsons, CEO of Languages International, joining us. How are you today, Gerald?
I'm doing good. Man, what a beautiful day. I should be on the golf course instead of working.
Hey, we have a golf tournament coming up, so you'll be there soon.
I'll be practicing up.
Awesome. So we're here just to talk about you, share a little bit about your company, your history, just dive in wherever you want, and I'll interrupt and ask questions and chime in along the way.
Sure. Well, Languages International is a 30-year-old company. We've been in Farmers Branch that entire time. We love Farmers Branch and are glad to be part of the community. Very excited to be part of the chamber, and in no small part due to Grace, and she's doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Grace, for all you do for the chamber. Life Languages is a communication analysis company. What we do is we have a methodology and a bank of assessments that work with organizations to help them communicate more effectively across individual relationships or corporate relationships or business units or anything like that within their organization to resolve some of the bigger issues right now that companies are having, especially coming out of or rounding the turn, so to speak, of this COVID stuff that we've been dealing with in the form of employee engagement, workplace conflict mitigation, diversity and inclusion, sales enablement, a lot of things that communication is a kind of the common denominator for each of those kind of interactions. We actually called it building relationship equity. And equity in this term doesn't mean fairness, it means value. So just like the equity on your home, right? And so what we do is we teach people how to engage and how to build that relationship equity, that value in that relationship, so that when there is an issue, when there's a conflict, or when there's a problem, you actually have something to draw on by using our methodology and our tool, and that's kind of the equity part of the equation. So yeah, we've been doing this for quite a while. We have a lot of clients. We have a lot of folks that are very happy with how we've been able to move the needle for them internally, and looking forward to doing a lot more.
Awesome. Share with us you've gotten a couple new big contracts and you work with some larger agencies. Why don't you share a little bit about that segment of your organization? And right, I know that you said you worked with like law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, about 6 months ago, we rolled out a new brand just for the corporate community. It's called Communication IQ. So the company is Life Languages International, and we have a corporate brand now called Communication IQ. And that particular brand is solely focused on helping corporate people, corporate clients, law enforcement, military, educational uses in different universities and things like that. For instance, about 3 weeks ago, we landed a large contract with McKesson Pharmaceuticals, and they're going to be rolling out a brand new division that is focused on oncology. And starting from their C-suite on down, they're going to be using our methodologies to maintain that kind of communication equity and relationship equity. So they're cool, man. They're rolling. We just landed another deal with the Texas Department of Public Safety this year. So they've ordered 7 of our methodologies to install. What's interesting is in their crime lab. Their crime lab is using our tool so that they can communicate more effectively with the people that are involved in crime, so that's a huge deal. So we've got lots of things like that out there that are cooking, and We have over 85 consultants right now across the country, and each one of those consultants holds a license to use our intellectual property, and so they represent us very well, and we train them, and then every year they get additional training, continuing education kind of things. So we work with another big company. This is kind of interesting, out of Houston, Texas, a company called Allen Austin, and they're a retained executive placement firm. And they use our tool to help qualify candidates within companies to identify the communication culture that they bring to the table to a new company. So that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about, like, bring some value to some people and show us some of the stuff that you're made of. I know that I'm going to do a shameless plug right now for our book club. We are meeting this Thursday, March 25th at 4:30 p.m. and we're featuring Gerald's book, Ties and T-Shirts, which talks about specifically intergenerational communication within the workplace. Why don't you just kind of share some nuggets of value to any of our listeners who are part of the business community. They can get a taste of what Life Languages is and what Gerald Parsons himself teaches.
Well, our methodology starts with the theory that if you communicate well with one another or with a team, that you're more productive and you're more effective. One of the biggest issues in companies is not communicating well. As a matter of fact, the statistics show that about 62% of employees that have been polled, so to speak, have said that they are not engaged in their company to any more than about 30%, 30 to 40%, which is very low. And when you discover how to communicate with somebody like you and I, Grace, I know your profile, and you know my profile. So that's a great opportunity for me to speak your language. You've heard people say that, man, that guy really speaks my language. There's absolute science behind that. And so what we do is we have about 33 different metrics for each one of the predictive communication styles that we monitor and measure, and there are 7 of those. And so when we apply our assessment, the results that you get show about a 50-page report that shows from top to bottom what your predictive communication styles are, and then how to use them. One of the things that is interesting about our tool is that we're not just descriptive. See, there's a lot of great tools out there, a lot of psychometric tools. Everybody kind of gets thrown in the same bucket, and they all measure something. They all extrapolate information to get a result, right? And in most cases, it's very useful. We don't try to replace that. We try to magnify that by bringing the communication piece to that. So, for example, when we do an assessment, we don't just tell you about you, right? We tell you about you and somebody else or a team. So we're not just descriptive to tell you that you're a this or a that. We tell you that you're a this, and this is how you act for people that are different from you, and how do I be more effective with my clients and my customers. That's a huge value today. Words matter, and we're finding out that words matter a whole lot, especially now. And so we teach people how to analyze that, how to establish an effective communication boundary, and work very effectively. So basically, what we do is we profile people, and then we create what we call a communication map for them to be able to move the needle in some of these issues that I mentioned a few minutes ago.
That's awesome. And yeah, I'm going to just do a shameless plug. I actually took this program before I knew Gerald. They were teaching it at my church. And so I personally found it exceptionally neat when Gerald reached out and wanted to connect and learning about the organization. I'm like, oh, they're right here in Farmers Branch. I've
Yeah,
done this before. I've taken this class.
right.
So it is a really neat, tool that you guys have for sure. And you've just been a gem to join our chamber and be part of our community. So thank you. I'm so glad that, you chose us to plug and play.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I can't wait. I've never been a part of a chamber that was so interactive and so helpful. I've been parts of lots of chambers, but this one has really helped me a lot, and I've made some great contacts and actually done some business with some of the other members. So I'm
And
thrilled.
you've only been here like 2 months.
Yeah,
It's
too
just
much.
getting good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really grateful. Again, the one day that really stands out in my mind, I was actually over at Rob Bliss's office, and Carl popped in. And then I was driving back to my apartment, and I saw Jesse's truck parked outside your office, and I popped in. And it really is exciting and truly a blessing to lead a chamber, in a crucial time like this, but also to see our members are doing business with each other and connecting and supporting one another. So I know that's what people in chambers are supposed to do. But I know, that it's translating into dollars, because I want this to be a good investment for, all
Yeah,
our.
Grace, I'm sorry to interrupt you. One of the things that's really been very cool for me is one of our members is an insurance agent, Jesse Castaneda, and he and I have been talking. I bought some insurance from him, got that underway, and in that process, he actually helped me and our company achieve one of our long-term goals that we haven't been able to do, and that is because our founder is a retired major in the Marine Corps, has always wanted to use our methodology to help veterans in some way or fashion, and Jesse got us hooked up with a nonprofit group called Sheepdog. And Sheepdog is an international national nonprofit that helps mainstream vets back into society, and they've actually hired our company to come in and help them do that. So I'm very thrilled about those kinds of connections. You're not but two or three steps away from the president or something like that. I don't know. But
6 degrees of separation, I think, is the concept that
it's been great, and I'm looking forward to all the good stuff that's happening.
That's awesome. Well, again, you're a blessing to this community, and we're super grateful to have you. So let's just kind of switch gears a little bit. Why don't you share a little about us personally, if you'd like? I know I've met your super sweet wife, Sharon. You guys have had a great marriage. Didn't you just celebrate your anniversary? Is that right?
Well, we're about to.
Okay.
44 years.
44.
Yep, with the same wife. So I have two grown children. My daughter's Lindsay is 41, and she and her husband actually are pastors down in the Sugar Land area. They have a great church down there, and two of my grandkids. My oldest. Her oldest daughter is just got a full ride to play softball at Oklahoma.
Sweet.
And my her younger brother is a baseball player, and then I have a son who is 47, and he has three. And at 47 years old, I can't imagine why he'd have a 2-year-old, but he does. Anyway, they're doing great. She works for Baylor. He has his own maintenance company, and so they're doing great. We've got kids everywhere, and just enjoying life right now.
That's awesome. So what is like the biggest thing you've learned over the last year, through all the struggles, all the things from COVID to Snowmageddon to what do you feel like you learned about your character and what else what do you want to share with other people, whether it's about what you've learned or like a word of encouragement for getting through the tough stuff?
Sure. Well, let me just tell you what I've learned. This has been ringing in my ears ever since March of last year. when we lost the largest account we've ever had a chance with because of COVID. Okay. However, I've discovered that, and I hope some of the listeners and some of our team members have discovered, there's a big difference between happiness and joy. And happiness is subject to circumstances, and joy is a choice. So you can be joyful in bad circumstances, but you can't be happy in bad circumstances. So I've learned that um, nothing's going to steal my joy. I'm gonna keep that alive and inflated no matter what happens, and I'm not going to allow circumstances to steal that from me. And so that's been the biggest thing that I've had to kind of circle back on this past year, and know that, hey, whatever happens tomorrow is going to be a result of what I've sown today. And so I'm always about sowing seed. You can't expect a harvest if you don't sow seed, whether it's through kindness or financial blessings or through helping somebody through a tough time. That's the thing that has kept me joyful during these last 12 or 14 months. And it's nothing's going to steal my joy. You ain't going to get it.
Good. So good. I feel like that's, right. You and I beat to the same drum because number one,
Right.
I believe in, the laws of sowing and reaping.
Yep.
My pastor teaches, if you want corn, plant corn. If you want
Right.
wheat, plant wheat. If you want, good things for your business, you sow good things for other people's businesses. And
That's right.
there's a truth that will come back. And also, right, there is a truth of staying in joy. And getting to choose, right, how things impact you.
Mhm.
Like, not that it's not hard, but, you can either complain about it or you can let it grow and empower you.
Right.
And
Well, the first question I ask when something goes bad, I say, okay, what do I need to learn from this? Right? Because there's nothing ever wasted, whether it's good or bad. You can choose to learn from it. And because you do, then it's not a waste. It might not be something you choose to go through or want to go through, but because you were handed that kind of those cards, you have to play them to your best of ability. And then and what happens in my experience has been that if you just stay faithful and if you just stay focused on your mission and helping others, it all works out.
awesome. Well, hey, I'm going to pause this for a second. We have a comment here from Jody Fulton with Einstein Printing. She wanted to say congratulations. Thank you for sharing. And she's looking forward to connecting more with you in the future. So
Yeah.
Jody's another one of our new platinum members.
I got some printing problems.
Oh, well, we know someone who can help you.
Right? Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her.
Awesome. And Alex just chimed in, to all that. He said, it does all work out.
Yep, sure does, Alex.
Awesome. Well, what else would you like to share? Do you have any other questions, thoughts, things that you want any of the members of our business community to know?
Yeah, I think one of the central themes to in the rest of this year for me is to focus on connecting and giving back, however we need to do that, in whatever form it comes. I think like I said, if you sow into somebody's life, you're going to reap eventually. You may not reap immediately. It takes a while for crops to grow, right? But you are going to reap the benefits. So I'm focused, and I would encourage everybody that, especially in chamber, to help us grow this chamber, because it's such a vital part of our community. And I just can't tell you how excited it's been being part of this group. I almost feel like I have another family. And I appreciate what Grace has created, and Alex, his leadership, to put this all together for us to enjoy. So let's don't keep it a secret. Let's don't keep it under the best kept secret in Farmers Branch kind of thing. Let's go out there and really build this into something that is awesome for each business person in our area. So many great businesses in Farmers Branch, so many powerful business leaders in Farmers Branch. Can you imagine what we can do together if we're all in unity trying to help each other? So, I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say any company that's part of the Farmers Branch family, if they want to use us to come in and do a workshop or anything like that, I will absolutely sow it for free into those companies, which is, that's a fairly substantial thing, but I feel so empowered that I would like to sow that seed. And I'm not trying to just make money. Obviously, I want to give it away. So if there's anything I can do to help in that regard, man, I just want to be a part and bless the group. So there you go.
So fun. Thank you, Gerald. And y'all, just so you know, I don't pay him to say that. But yeah, it's definitely an exciting season for us as a chamber. We are rapidly growing, and we're looking for great businesses, great business leaders who really want to make an impact and make a difference in the next decade or more to come here in the local community. And so, I think Gerald's number one. He's one of the people who's really stepped up to help lead the charge. And I'm just going to brag about Gerald for a minute. There's even been days where he's reached out and just called me and said, "Hey, how can I help you today?" And I'm like, well, I'm your chamber person. I'm supposed to be helping you. But I really feel like that's a reflection of the type of people that we have. Is you're clearly a giver. And right. We trust that that's going to come back tenfold upon you. So thank you for everything. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And really, my biggest birthday wish is just that our community would prosper, and that we would grow this chamber, and that we will be some of the people who really kickstart and lead the charge in revitalizing the DFW community post-COVID. So
you didn't tell me if you liked my birthday song I sang to you this morning.
Oh, listen, Gerald, you carry a tune like no other.
Yeah, right. We're going to have to figure out how to get some cake or something out of this deal.
Well, you missed cupcakes a little bit earlier at Sean's place, but I'm happy to have a birthday every week if you want.
Sure. Yeah, mine starts December 1st, just so you know, and runs the whole month. The actual celebration day is the 24th. Christmas Eve. So I'm not averse to getting 2 presents. So however that works out for you.
Awesome. Well, I have some more comments to pop up here. Alex has dropped a couple. He said, out on a limb, a workshop, free, what? He's like, that's a nice 4-letter word. So yeah, once again, Gerald has made an offer to come to your company and lead a workshop. No charge. And it's not going to be one of these workshops, I'm sure, that's loaded with the sales pitch. You're going to get value out of it. And if you feel like it's a good fit for your business, great. If not, I know Gerald personally, he's not a pushy guy. He wants to do what's best for all parties involved. And if he can be part of growing your organization, great. If not, I'm sure he won't take it too personally.
No, it's no problem. Like I said, it's my gift. I want to give into the community. Not that it's that big of a deal, but I will tell you that we have companies that pay us $20,000 and $30,000 for what I will bring to the table. And just to let you know that it's just not a, let's all get together and glad hand each other. We actually give you the methodology and the system to change companies, and I'm happy to do that.
And I'm just going to kind of say help you out here. That's probably not the right word, but I mean, I don't know that we fully capture this, but everybody knows that communication is key for any relationship, for marriage, for family, friends, within an organization, right? Like it kind of seems like, oh yeah, that might be something nice to do as an extra or when there's extra money around or whatever. But I really can't stress that, like, I really believe in these programs. It's really great when you utilize this kind of information because you will see, an almost immediate boost in employee morale, right? Trust and improved communication within coworkers is going to increase productivity. It's going to foster a creative environment. Oftentimes creativity is stifled when there's not an honoring of people and understanding their style or knowing how to communicate. So, right. I'm going to go out to say that, right, what you do will actually impact their bottom line, whether it results in increasing revenue, decreasing cost, decreasing turnover. Again, anything that boosts employee morale within an organization is going to have a ripple effect to your customers, your clients, to your bottom line. So yeah, I just strongly encourage anyone, if you need some leadership development or training, or, maybe just a little revitalization as you're navigating COVID and maybe bringing people back to the office and working online, that, sometimes just having someone there who's going to help facilitate conversations can be super key and super helpful for kind of launching, your business into this next season. So hopefully I didn't say anything, out of line there, Gerald, but I think some people think of this as, oh, it would be a nice add-on. It might be a nice luxury thing for when we have it, but I believe that what you do will impact their bottom line.
Yeah, it's absolutely fundamental. We have a client, and just as an example real quick, I know we're short on time, but we have a client in Fort Worth that has 260 franchises, and they have 10,000 employees, and they were experiencing a 40% turnover rate within their organization. When you can put numbers on that, you can put hard numbers on what it costs to onboard people, to train people, to replace people, the business that's lost while they're gone, and all of that it's a fairly stifling number. And this CEO, called a bunch of companies and said, everybody gets 15 minutes to try to solve my problem. Tell me what you would do. And our 15 minutes turned into a 3-year contract, and we saved them $1.5 million a year on this, because we've lowered their turnover rate to 12%. And so just using our methodology in one solution pointed to turnover. And we do that across the board with every kind of business issue that you might have, because the truth is, the common denominator for most problems is communication. And if you can learn to do that well, then you can cross just about any bridge or shorten any gap. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah. I know that a lot of businesses are in okay, we got to try something new. We got to try something different, right? We're starting to get past the COVID thing. What is the next year, the next 5 or 10 years going to look like? And right, just what new things can people do to set themselves up for success? And I think really having something like a program like this in your organization could really help jumpstart things in a new way. And again, it fosters creativity. Like you said, it can probably decrease turnover, which improves your bottom line. There's just so many benefits to having good communication. I think that's something a lot of people know, but if you're not doing it, then it's pointless to know it. So I love that you have this tool that is so practical and easy to use. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be a part.
Absolutely. Any last comments? Oh, here's what I always like for people to leave with. A lot of businesses are hurting and struggling. Just a word of encouragement to those around us. I know we kind of did a little bit, captured some of that on the joy and the happiness, but just from one business owner to another.
Yeah. Let me just encourage everyone that as long as you are focused on what you're supposed to be doing, working on your business and not always in your business, that's a key function for a leader of a company, because you can get in the weeds and you can work in your business and not look up, and all of a sudden you find yourself out of focus somewhere, off track somewhere. The bottom line is that you, as the leader, be encouraged, because when you work on your business, even if you just take a half a day a week and say, okay, I'm shutting the phones off, I'm closing the door, I'm going to get my markers and my whiteboard out, and I'm going to start noodling on things that will help us at least identifying where you want to go and making sure you're doing something every month to stay on track. That's been a real blessing to me. And I want to encourage everybody, take that time, take that thoughtful time, and really just close yourself off to as much as you can, and just even if it's just a couple of hours, and start thinking about the future of where you want to go. I promise you, in that process, you will come up with some brilliant ideas. Everybody has a genius. Find out where yours is, and then hire around it to get everybody else's genius in play. And so that's been my philosophy, and it's worked tremendously for me so far.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gerald. I really appreciate your time today.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
And thank you all for joining us for the Farmers Branch Chamber Chat. We look forward to continuing to bring you updates from our business leaders in our community every Tuesday, 2 p.m. here on Facebook Live. We'll talk to you soon.